Hey everyone, this is Nick with Drastic Games, and today I'm going to walk you through manual beat mapping for imported songs in Soundfall. If you've tried importing songs from your music library into Soundfall, you may have noticed that some songs work out great, while others have a little bit of trouble. Like the metronome doesn't always line up with where the beat of the song is, maybe in some small spots, or maybe throughout the whole song. So here's how we can fix that manually. First, we'll want to download Audacity for editing beat positions, and then the Vamp plugin pack for calculating some initial beat positions. You can find links to both of these in the video description. So after installing Audacity and the Vamp plugins, we can open Audacity, and the first thing we'll want to do is go to Add or Remove Plugins, and then find that BeatRoot Tracker beats that we had installed from the Vamp plugin pack, and make sure that gets enabled. So we can open our song, and you'll see a visual representation of the song's waveform. We can play our song and jump around throughout the track. So what we can do to get a start on a beat track that'll be, in a lot of cases, pretty good, maybe not all the way there, is we can use that BeatRoot Tracker beats, and you'll want to have selected the whole song for this. And then I usually use the default settings, which often work pretty well. And this will generate a beat map. Now, this algorithm is a little bit different than the one that's in Soundfall. So sometimes one of the two will be great and the other one will give you some problems, or sometimes each one will have its own quirks. Like, for instance, here you see it is a little confused by the beginning here, and all the way at the end of the song, it's just blank there. So one way to solve this is to manually place some additional markers. So like right here, you can click on the label track and press Control B to place a marker. And I'm just going to put an arbitrary number in there for now, but we can go over what that means later. And sometimes there'll just be sections where markers are not in the right spot. And what we can do with those, this one's correct, but we'll just pretend it isn't, is you can drag and slide them around and put them in the right location. Another thing we can do that sometimes helps is if you already know the BPM of the track, and let's say you know that it doesn't have any tempo changes, you can select the whole track and go to Tools, Regular Interval Labels. And for this song in particular, I already know that it is 120 beats per minute, and it keeps that consistently. So I can use a label interval of 0.5 seconds and apply that to the whole song, and it will generate it'll blindly generate a set of labels across that interval. Now, sometimes that will, if you want to go that route, that will need adjustment too, because maybe the first beat doesn't actually land right at the start of the song, or, sometimes there's a tempo change and you can maybe take a section of song and do a different interval label for that. But anyway, with the combination of these techniques, what you eventually want to land with is one track of labels that covers the whole song and matches as close as you can get to the actual place where you'd be tapping your foot if you were playing the song. So this label track actually did that for us pretty well. So the last thing here, which is an optional step, and not necessary, but if you really want to go get really detailed with your beat mappings, is if you change these labels to a number, let's make this 1, and this one, which isn't as intense here, we can call this maybe 0.5. Soundfall will read these numbers as the loudness of that beat, so like how intense that beat sounds. Now, that doesn't change a whole lot, but if the game is, say, spawning a group of enemies, at around that time of a beat, it'll try to focus on spawning them on the beats that are louder. So this will just give you like an extra little bit of polish if you want to spend quite a bit more effort on your beat maps. So now that we're, you can listen to this and see if it works, but let's say we're all set now. What we can do is export that beat label by going to Export and Export Labels. And we'll want to go to the same folder that our song is in. And here I just have it on my desktop in a folder. And we will want to name the file the same as our song's file name. And that'll end up being a text file. So if we go here, we can see it in that same folder. And then you should be good to play it in game. Now, if we open Soundfall again, we can find our song that we had imported. And when we open it now, it'll load the new beatmap instead of the one automatically generated by the game. As you can probably tell, the beats are lining up way better now. Hopefully this video helped, so thank you for watching and thanks for playing Soundfall.